All right, watercolor pencils. What you need to know about watercolor pencils is you don't have to actually color the whole shape or the object that you plan on painting. You do have to kind of figure out, though, like what part you want to color. So I'm going to kind of do these letters in two different ways. So I'm going to start with my S, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of color the outside edge of the S so that it's dark on the edges and then lighter in the middle of the S, and so it kind of has like a faded glow. So I'm following the shape that my shape makes. So like my S, I'm following the lines that make up my S. So a little bit darker on the edges. And then I'll just kind of fade it out as it comes closer to the center. All right, now on my second letter, I'll do the R next. So on the R, I'm going to kind of paint, I'm going to kind of darken it up from the inside and then paint towards the outside. So you can see how far this paint can actually go. I would definitely recommend grabbing some scrap paper and playing around with just the shape so you can see it. All right, and then it's very important that you pick the correct size brush. You want something that's either in the medium size or even smaller, because you're working, most of the time you'll be working with smaller shapes. It doesn't need to be super soaked, it just needs to be wet. And then you just pick it up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this outer shape first, and then you can see how it picks up the color, and I can move the color anywhere I need it to go. Now I'm in a rush. I want to minimize the amount of water I have on my brush. It's getting to the point where it's too much. But you can see how it can really cover a lot of area, right? And so now it has that kind of inner glow, but the outer. Now I'm going to do it in reverse with my red. I'll just show you how far these colors can go. So that little bit of red was able to cover that entire area. So you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to color the entire shape, because the watercolor pencil, once it hits with the water, will react and become paint, and it can push to the outer edges of your stuff. All right, one more example. So I took my crown here, right, and I've already colored it with the colored pencils that I want. You can see where I have the darker values, where I have the lighter values, because I want it to look kind of gold and metallic. So I'll just pick this up. I'm just using a lot of water there because I want it to kind of have that white little highlight. So then I go back. Taking your time is the key. Controlling how much water you allow your brush to have at the moment. I don't want a lot of water on my brush, so I keep scraping it on my water bowl. Paper towel would work because I want this to have that really light area, and then I want this darker area. Again, clean brush, lots of water removed, so I can kind of fade that right there. And that's giving it that kind of goldish highlight. Now I'll clean my brush, keep it really dry, use a paper towel if you need to, just so that I can have this faded area stay white. So it looks like the light's catching the metallic and creating these faded areas. So like I said, you don't have to color the whole area. You don't have to put down, it doesn't have to be super dark when you color. In fact, you don't really need to press as hard as you can with your watercolor pencils. You just need to get some color on there. And I highly recommend playing around on a scrap piece of paper. Get a good idea of what it will do. But there you can see how I've created the gold tint.